So I think we'll start. We are almost 70% connected. So let's go on and welcome everybody to this TYNDP webinar. Well, I'm Patricia Labra. I'm the convener of the TYNDP steering group at ENTSO-E. And today, the topic that we want to share with you is the project level indicators and what it represents, in all the TYNDP process. Perhaps I can give you some status of where are we right now in the TYNDP process. The scenarios that are those input framework for the TYNDP will be published very soon. Probably this week will be published. You are probably aware, that after the call for projects that we had in the last autumn, the list of the projects included in the TYNDP project portfolio and that will be assessed are already published in the website since January, and right now we have already started the cost benefit analysis of that project portfolio. There are several indicators that are included in the CBA guidelines that, in fact, it has the CBA 4.0 has been approved by the Commission, and this is a relevant milestone because it's the first time that we use an approved CBA in the starting of a TYNDP process and CBA assessment. So it's quite relevant, but there are some benefit indicators of the project, so of the TYNDP project portfolio that are not yet mature enough to get that full assessment of at ENTSO-E level, and that's the topic that we have today. We need your support, to assess properly those projects. So today we will discuss about those project level indicators. We will also see which is the timeline to deliver information, to get the results, or to get the check at ENTSO-E level, how to submit the information, and of course you will have also time for any question that you need to clarify in order to have a proper assessment of all the projects that are right now included in the TYNDP project portfolio. So that's the topic for today. And now I will give the floor to Julio, to start the process. Also to Frank. Julio is the TYNDP project manager, and please.
Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. Before I give the floor to Frank, I would like to give some rules for this meeting. Let's use the chat for the questions. There will be a Q&A session at the end, and we will enable the microphones to everybody. I see this comment. I'm not sure. So someone is checking on this. There's some kind of AI taking. I don't know if it's allowed, but I've forwarded to IT. So we'll start with which project level indicators will be can be submitted this year. Then we look at the timeline and how to submit them, and at the end we will have a Q&A. So I would pass the floor to Frank, who will go through which project level indicators can be submitted this year. I think Frank is frozen. we're having some technical issues.
Okay, well, I hope
Okay.
that he's connecting again, yeah. Meanwhile, also we can remind that the meeting is being recorded, so that you can see it afterwards if you want to clarify any of the topic, or when you are preparing the information you have forget about something. So it will be available for later revision. Let's see if we rescue Frank.
If not, we can first look at the timeline and then we look at which indicators can be submitted, or yeah, maybe let's do it. So you should have received an email on May 7th describing all the process to submit the project level indicators, with this opening of the submission window that will start, that has started on May 15th and will run until September the 20th. In the first month, let's say from May 7th to June 7th, there's another time window to submit a data request. In the email, you have received the link to download the form to request this data. Then we will close this window, and the committee will have to approve the sharing of the data. And then following this approval, you will receive an NDA for signature. And once we receive the NDA, we will share with you the data. At the end of the submission window, so after the 20th of September, we will review the submitted documentation and the methodology, and checking that the methodology that is described in the CBA and in the CBA implementation guidelines is respected. So we might come back to you with some questions, asking more details on the study you have performed. How to submit, this will be done like last cycle, where you will use the platform of TYNDP. There is a new tab there that is the project level indicator, project level, I will go back later, but project level benefits. So I think most of these are hidden for you, but this should be available and should be editable. Maybe we can look at it live afterwards. Together with the value, you will have to provide a copy of the study performed, including the detailed description of the methodology and the assumption that you have applied. Yes, useful documentation is the CBA guidelines and the CBA implementation guidelines. You can find both of these on ENTSO-E website. There's a reminder here that we encourage promoters who want to verify the methodologies that they are applying is in compliance with what is written in these guidelines. You can do so by sending an email to us. The objective of this is to identify and clarify any potential misunderstanding and to ensure that the compliance of the computed PLIs with the CBA guideline. So an early submission of the draft methodology is possible. It's an option you have. However, at the end of the submission, during the submission, you have to provide this document, a copy of the study performed with all the details and the description. So So maybe we can look at if Frank is not yet back.
I'm back, Julia.
You're back.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe we can look at which PLIs can be submitted before going to the live website, going through the different, yes, please.
Yes, thank you, Julia. So I will avoid maybe turning my camera on because my computer has a lot of issues here. But if I may start here. So yes, as mentioned by Julia before, you should have received this message enabling you basically to submit project level indicators for supporting the project states of your project submitted in the TYNDP process. So as also outlined, the slides, yeah, as also outlined by Patricia before. So these benefits are general benefits, which are not to be put away if we are able to compute them, but benefits for which at ENTSO-E level we do not yet have, let's say, a fully mature methodology to get the full assessment of it at ENTSO-E level. Or on the other side, maybe the tool chains or common input data and processes are not yet well in place at ENTSO-E level for performing these assessments. Therefore, we leave this opportunity for the project promoters to do these assessments and of course submit them for analysis. Meaning we check the values, we check also the methodologies applied for computing these project level indicators. And if we give them the green light, this can of course be part of the project sheets of the sheets of the project basically. So yeah, like I just mentioned, these benefits can bring a substantial benefit to the infrastructure project. So it's something always valuable to have in if possible. And yes, main thing to keep in mind is that these assessment, I mean, yeah, we ask that please these assessments be in line to facilitate things, be in line with the fourth CBA guideline, which, as mentioned by Patricia in the beginning, was recently approved by the European Commission, but also any additional implementation details, which is always provided in the cycle-specific implementation guidelines. So in this case, the TYNDP 2024 cost benefits analysis implementation guidelines, which for which an intermediate version, let's call it like that, was also recently shared on the ENTSO-E website. So here we have all the informations. If you take both documents together, you have all the information in general. At least methodologically wise, how we see these indicators, and yeah, it's always a trade-off between, let's say, complexity and resources required for these assessments. Therefore, to the best extent possible, it's always recommended to be in line with the guidance provided, at least in these guidelines. So for these cycles, which project level indicators are we speaking about? So we have, of course, the B71 indicators, namely the balancing energy exchange indicator benefit, which is something which was already there in the previous cycle. Basically, no major change compared to that previous cycle in regard to this project level indicators. Always assessing basically the potential, let's say, yeah, balancing energy exchange that could be provided, balancing energy exchange cost that could be saved through the implementation of the infrastructure project. So of course, there's thorough description of that in the CBA guidance and supported in the implementation guideline with some illustration. New one for this cycle is actually the B81 indicator. Not new in the CBA guideline itself, but new in terms of being PLI, and also a bit more description provided in the TYNDP implementation guidelines, where we try basically here to assess the potential of an infrastructure project to support system splits, mainly focusing on the rate of change of frequency in terms of mean rate of change of frequency after system split, but also let's say the occurrence of rate of change of frequencies below some let's say standard which are 1 hertz, for instance, here in the network codes. And therefore, yes, third indicator here, third project level indicators here is the BINA indicator, reduction of reserve necessary for redispatch, which is in this case as well nothing new compared to the previous cycle, basically, where of course we will try to assess cost reduction through the implementation, redispatch cost reduction through the implementation of infrastructure project, basically. Mainly relevant, of course, for countries which have redispatch reserve allocation mechanism. This is generally a very interesting benefit for those one. And also then some indicators were removed in this cycle. 2 of them are listed here. So it's the B7 one and the system flexibility, which was mainly used for the storage projects assessment. Why the deletion? Of course, now it's the European Commission which is mandated to provide the guidance and the guidelines for the assessment of storage projects, and therefore this doesn't lie within let's say the mandate of ENTSO-E to produce this indicator, and therefore this is something where more alignment may, I guess, be needed with the European Commission, maybe a project promoter EC wise, and the BA3 indicators, which is the Black Star Services benefit, which was deleted. The reason being that the maturity of the methodology was just not enough to be used at the European level at this point. And yeah, so this is pretty much it's a summary of what we have in this cycle. And of course, we also had the opportunity to have a webinar back in September of 2023, where we were actually focusing on these new indicators and potential project level indicators, if some of you were able to attend. But yeah, nothing new in that regard besides clarification on what is actually the PLIs to be considered, because back then we didn't have, of course, the decision yet. So yes, this is pretty much it about project level indicators that we are considering for this cycle, and therefore I guess I'll pass the floor maybe to Julia for guiding us through the platform itself.
I think we have 3 questions already in the chat. Maybe I'll unmute people if they want to. So let's start from Thomas. You should be able to unmute. The question is that the PLI 8.1, the frequency stability, he's asking if it's applicable for this for storage. Can
you ask the question again, please?
Yeah, he's asking if the 8.1, the frequency stability, is applicable also for the storage, because on the website, as Pablo Antonio is saying, this option is not available. So I can already show the platform. So for the transmission here, you have the 3, but for the storage, you don't have the 8.1.
Yeah. In the methodologies, in the methodology itself, and I think Philip also was able to join now. But in the methodology for the B8.1 in the implementation guidelines, we were focusing mainly on HVDCs within synchronous areas, basically. So in this sense, the focus was not on storage projects, because like I also mentioned before, the CBA methodology for the assessment of storage projects now lies within the responsibility of the European Commission, and therefore in this regard, there's also a guidance on that already from their side. If I don't make a mistake, I don't know if it's yet the final version or not, but there is also a guideline that I'm aware of from the European Commission for storage projects assessment. So it's more there that we should project promoters should look into for storage projects benefit assessment.
Does this answer your question, Thomas? I think I cannot wait. I think there's a technical problem. Allow microphone.
Yes, so thank you very much for the answer. It answers my question. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Julius, maybe I'll let you guide me through the questions to avoid
okay, yeah, no, I'm trying, yeah. Now the next question would come from Deepak. Would previously submitted and approved TYNDP application need to be resubmitted during the next round with the new project level indicators for offshore projects? If I understand correctly, your question, the projects that were already submitted are submitted, and now you have these edit rights on the platform, so you don't have to resubmit them now in this window. This is your question, or you're referring to next cycle?
I think it's related to the PLI. So if in previous cycle you already had a PLI,
yes,
you need to apply, okay. You need to send it again.
Yes, but you have to submit them again.
I mean, of course, if the methodology didn't change so much, it should be fast, yeah.
I don't understand if there's a problem with unmuting the mics, because I'm not able to.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute my mic. Unmute my mic. So yeah, thanks for your answer. So is it do we have to resubmit it during this cycle or the next cycle? Or the same window that we have to revise the PLIs?
So if you have submitted PLIs in the previous cycle, as Rodrigo was saying, you have to resubmit them this time if you wish. It's optional.
It's optional. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Julio.
I think I have to manually give permissions for the mic. So the next question is from Konstantinos. Can we request market modeling data in order to independently calculate other indicators? This is a very good question. Maybe I would ask the technical team to maybe elaborate a little bit more on this.
So
do we have,
I think in general, requesting the data is always possible. Now, always when there is a request for the data, we also ask the reason for asking the data, and then when we go to the committees for approval, we go with the request and the reasoning. We didn't discuss this explicitly, let's say, for the other indicators. So if a request comes, it will be needed then an explicit discussion with the committee, while for the others, it's let's say a more well-established discussion. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, yes, it's always possible to make data requests, but the approval, I'm not going to say it's likely or unlikely, but it just needs a more explicit discussion.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Rodrigo.
And there will be data published with the publication of the scenarios, which should come this week, as Patricia mentioned earlier. So yeah, this is all. This will also be let's say, a good source of data for stakeholders in general.
In the public domain, you mean, right?
Yes, yes. So when the scenario report is published, then the input data will also be published. So yeah.
And did I understand you said it's this week? Apologies. Is that what you meant earlier?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay.
The plan is to have it done this week.
Okay, thanks so much.
Okay, so the next question is from Juan. In the calculation of the PLIs, could the promoters use the national grid models and software tools of their own instead of the ones used by ENTSO-E? How will the beneficiaries be informed about the PCI status application window in the order not to miss? Okay, it's 2 questions. So the first one, the CBA guidelines define which data has to be used in order to compute them. And my understanding, and I would ask confirmation from Frank, is that you have to use the data that is provided by ENTSO-E. You can add, I think you can improve this data if you have more detail at national level. For example, if you have the national grid model and you want to use that one, you can. This is my understanding.
Yes, so yeah, we have the data. So we present the data required, of course, for the assessment within the methodology description. In specific cases, like I said, it's these are general complex, very complex modeling exercises and complex assessment to do, and therefore, in this regard, it should be fine if a national grid is used also for the assessment. But of course, always trying to keep consistency with the information, with some substantial information provided by ENTSO-E in some of these methodologies, because yeah, in some of them, if not most of them, actually, all of them, yeah, information, market modeling information, and these kind of informations are required for the assessment. So there needs to be some sort of consistency in that regard, and of course, always a thorough description of what was used and why was it used in the document supporting the values provided by the promoter.
The rationale here is to be consistent with the scenarios that also are applicable to the rest of the CBAs that are already included in the CBA guideline. There is nothing related to the tools for the assessment, so that's more open, but the models or the input data should be more coherent.
The second question that Juan has asked is how will the project promoter be informed for the PCI status application window? I think this communication will come through the European Commission. They will use the same platform as last cycle, which is the ENTSO-E platform. It's to be discussed if we also will send out a communication, but I think, yeah, either from us or from the Commission, you will be notified by when the window will be opened. We have then a question on what format would the national grid models be provided upon request. This is a question for Andre or for Frank.
Should be in CGMS format, I believe. It's a simplified network model, I understand, right?
Yes, this should be the case, yeah.
Yeah, Baya can if you want to follow up, should
So
be able to, yeah.
So here the point is, yeah, it's a common standard so that it can be implemented in any type of tool. It's not any type of an power flow analysis tool.
Okay, those are all the questions that are in the chat for the moment. I was showing you a dummy project. Here is what you should be able to see on the platform, and if you have any issues, you can contact us at any time. By clicking on add this benefit, you can fill in the platform with all the data and information that is needed. And there's one point where you have to upload the assumptions dataset, and you will also have to upload the study, and only documents in English will be accepted. That's pretty straightforward, I think, and then you will click submit this indicator, and then you save, and that's it. If you have any problems, you can submit by email, obviously, to us. Just reach out to me, and we can try to fix any issue. Yeah, that's the platform. I don't know if there's any question. Just please raise your hand and I will unmute you.
I think we have answered all the questions in the chat.
It's during the yeah, we have Nicolas. Let me unmute you. Okay. I can read the question. During the submission window, is it possible to change other information not used for computation? I guess in the project sheets, no, this is not possible because we have started the CBA calculation. So if you have to, it depends on what data, but like if it's a contact person, yes, you can change it. If it's something that is relevant from a technical point of view, then we're not in the position to update it at this moment.
Okay, that's
if
what
it's a description of the project, maybe we can discuss it if there's a typo or something. But
yes, all right. Thank you.
Sylvia. Allow microphone. Okay. So shall the platform be used also when sharing the draft? Well, for the draft methodology, I think we can do it by email, but both can be used because you can replace the files on the platform in a later stage. So you can submit it a first time to the platform, and we're able to see the document that you have submitted in real time. Yeah, you can use either. Regarding removing B7 for storage, does it mean that only B9 should be submitted for pump hydro storage power plants? You have two for storage. It's the B7.1 and the B9. So if you're not interested in submitting the B7.1, yes, you can submit only the B9. which scenario NTDGA will be used for assessment of the project by ENTSO-E and or the commission. This is still in discussion, so we don't have an answer on this yet. The commission will let us know soon. Question. So the question from Thomas, yes, there will be a window where you can update the project sheets. We will have to plan this window soon, probably during the summer or just after. Dennis Beef, I think I gave this answer. Could you confirm which of the PLIs are for the pump storage hydropower plants? Again, it's the B7.1 and the B9. Let's see if I have a test. Yes, because I didn't have a test for storage, but I can try to make one.
If I can just add to that, I mean the idea for which these two indicators are even allowed for submission for the storage is just due to the fact that for the methodology we do not specify for those two methodology we do not specify on the technology, the type of technology that can be accepted for assessment in there. So both transmission infrastructure and storage infrastructures are valid for assessment. Reason why it can be submitted. But like I said, in general, for the assessment of storage projects, this is more of a European Commission test to provide the guidance on this. I can tell that from what I've seen in the previous guideline, it's quite aligned for now, at least at this qualitative level for the project level indicators that we have here. But they are definitely the one to provide the guidelines for this assessment of storages project in specific. So that's, I think, one relevant point to mention. Julio, you are muted.
Right. I was saying that there are no other. Okay, there's another question now. The thing is that for some technical reason, I cannot unmute you all together. Teams is not allowing me, but I can unmute you one by one. So Ignacio, I can unmute you, but there's allow microphone. So following on pump storage hydropower plants, PLIs given to 0.1 is optional. Are there any negative implication of just submitting B9? No, there's no, like, this is optional. Obviously PLIs strengthen your application, but the other benefits are computed as normal. These are only additional indicators that you may want to submit. You can submit them, but there's no negative implication. Regarding my previous question, which scenario NT will be used for the assessment? I think we have answered, but I will unmute you, Dominic. No. I don't see him in the meeting. So I cannot unmute your mic. Okay, now I found you. Allow the microphone. So which of the three scenarios will be used has not been decided from the commission yet. Is there a timeline for answer of the I'm not sure I understand. You can unmute yourself if you want, Dominic.
Hello. This is Dominic.
Hello.
Do you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So my question is there a timeline for the answer of the Commission for the question I posed before? Which scenario will be used for assessment of the projects? The background of my question is the cost. If we have to calculate 3 scenarios and only one is used for assessment, this is very expensive for us.
I understand.
Yeah, it's understandable. Yeah, no, there is no clear deadline for which the Commission will decide on this. Of course, we are also experiencing that issue of number of simulation and also cost and resources for the internal ENTSO-E CBA indicators. What we can share with you is that the step or the priority that ENTSO-E is provided for the CBA assessment is NT, DA, and GA. But we cannot share anything else because we don't know yet.
Okay, thank you.
So let's see if there's any other question. Okay, Luis. I can unmute you also if you want to speak. Yes, the session is being recorded.
Yes,
you can watch it later.
I've connected the session a bit late, and I would like to watch it again from the very beginning. So the question is just if this session is being recorded with the possibility to watch
Yes,
it in the future, and also if the presentation will be shared with the attendants.
Both as the other webinars, both
Okay.
the recording and the slides will be shared on ENTSO-E website. Probably will take some days, but yeah, this
Okay.
is done also for people that could not join today
Okay.
to rewatch it if
Okay.
you have doubts. But obviously, if you have a specific question,
Yeah,
you can always reach to us.
Okay, thank you very much. I wanted also to ask about the project which are included in the 6th list of PCIs, which gave already this information regarding the benefits. Is it do these projects have is mandatory to make again the simulations and the calculations of these benefits, or is enough with the presentation or with the information already in the platform regarding these benefits?
So you have to recompute the PLIs for this cycle. So every cycle, as we recompute the base ones, let's call them like this, the internal benefits that ENTSO-E computes. Also, you have to recompute them based on what is written in the cost-benefit analysis guideline and the implementation guidelines.
Okay, then I understand that the previous information is not valid anymore, and we will have to again simulate the scenarios to calculate the benefits for the projects already included in previous lists.
Yes. If
Okay.
the input data has changed,
the scenarios in this process have evolved, so that means that the indicators have been coherent with the new scenarios that have an evolution from cycle to cycle, and well, also for the PCI process, the project have to be submitted again and the assessment for that PCI process will be this TYNDP assessment, not the previous one.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Is there any other question? I see that we have 10 minutes left from the time we have scheduled for this webinar. Please raise your hand or write it in the chat. If not, you can always reach to us by email with any other question that you may have. As said, the recording will be shared on ENTSO-E website and the presentation as well. I see a last question. Is also benign optional for hydro pump storage? Yes, all three are optional. All three PLIs are optional. You can submit them, but it's not mandatory. Okay, then that's all. I thank you very much for joining us today, and have a nice afternoon.
Thanks a lot.
You.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.